Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita for children. Today we'll be doing the lessons from the Gita. Lesson 7. Keep the faith. The rest will follow. If you think about it, anyone who has achieved anything in this world has done so because he or she has believed in an idea, in God, in herself, or in all of them. Madame Curie believed that even though a mineral called pitchblende was mostly made up of uranium, there was a tiny amount of something else in there too. It took her 15 years of tireless work, which included grinding down a ton of pitchblende to figure out how to separate the something else, which she named radium, and prove to the world that her guess had been right. Young Albanian Sister Teresa was headmistress in a school in Kolkata, where she had worked for 20 years, when she got the call from within, call from God. She would say later that God had ordered her to leave the convent and help the poor while living among them. She followed the order, even though she was reduced to begging for food in the first year. She went on to start the Missionaries of Charity, whose mission was to serve the poorest of the poor. 30 years later, the world recognized her years of selfless service to the poor by awarding her the Nobel Peace Prize. Of course, just having faith is not enough. You should also do tons of hard work. And yes, you should work with no expectations of reward. For example, if you think you want to become a writer one day, you will have to write, and write, always focusing on the job at hand. But you should never neglect your studies, because your primary duty as students is to work on your lessons. So, such an effort will need everything that Krishna says: self-discipline, sacrifice, and a lot of faith. After all, it would be so much easier to watch the TV than to sit down and write something. It would be so much more fun to go out with friends or sleep more hours on a Sunday morning than to wake up early and sit down to work. Anyhow, the promise of Krishna is that if you manage to do all that, wisdom is guaranteed. Maybe after 6 months of being super disciplined about writing, you will realize whether you love it enough to pursue it or not. That means you are sure of something, and there is no more doubt or fear. Isn't that a great recipe for happiness? If we had to put it down as a mathematical equation, it would look something like this. Faith plus discipline equals wisdom, which then equals to happiness. Self-discipline equals to sacrifice plus hard work, and happiness equals to no doubts plus no fear. Let us remember always the promise of Krishna to Arjuna, and through him to all humanity. He is our silent guardian and our watchful protector. That is the end of this recording. Thank you all for listening. Jai Shriman Narayan.